Welcome back. Just 9 months ago, Hurricane Helene slammed western North Carolina. And as the community continued to rebuild, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and private contractors have been launching a large-scale restoration project. The project aimed at clearing debris left behind by the hurricane. After officials drained the famous Lake Lure, they discovered a rare part of the area's history that hasn't been seen since the 1920s. Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell is on the ground with more on the rare discoveries. Brandy, exactly what was uncovered by these efforts?
Good morning to you. Well, I want to point out we have part of Lake Lure behind me. This is the marina that at this point you can see it's for the most part dry. You have little patches of water, but they've dropped the lake levels about 30 feet. And Zach, I heard you mention that it's uncovered some things on the lake that have been here possibly for years, and some residents sending us photos of boats and cars. But of course, we have to know the storm, Hurricane Helene, also brought in a lot here. So there could very well be belongings to some of the residents in really this region that was drifted here. But I want to bring in the mayor, Carol Pritchett, here for Lake Lure. Thank you so much for joining us here. I know you guys have been through a lot since last September. We're coming upon 9 months since the storm, and recovery is still ongoing. You guys have dropped the water levels here in the lake to start or continue recovery there. Can you tell us a little bit more about this effort and why we're starting to see basically the lake bed at this point?
Well, the Army Corps of Engineers, who've been just an unbelievable partner to the town of Lake Lure and all this, and have been here for 3 weeks after the hurricane began, have began after 3 weeks removing the surface debris from the lake. That took place probably over a course of about 6 months. Finally, they finished with that in about March. They've now begun removing the subsurface sedimentation and debris. So with that effort, of course, it was necessary to drop the lake from our normal pond mean sea level of 990.5 down 30 feet so that they could actually see what debris might be there. They had previously done a sonar to try to determine what was there, but you never know. We have a 5-county watershed, and so much of what was chimney rock was deposited in Lake Lure when it was here. So there was, expectation. Originally, we had seen some things were there. You could tell some things were there from the beginning. Cars, boats, refrigerators, things like that. But you just never know what was in there. And that's the reason the lake had to be closed, because we just didn't know. There might be something sharp down there that somebody might be injured. Right. So now, in order to remove all the sedimentation, but also to make sure that they have dropped the lake sufficiently that the excavators can get in and remove all of that debris, we've had to drop the lake down.
Right, and we can hear that work starting to happen with the Corps out here. I know it's early in the morning, but they're starting to become active. Can you talk about how much they're actually removing in terms of the mass, the amounts of sediment and maybe debris? Do you have the numbers on that?
The total numbers, and it continues, it's 60,000.
Okay. And we can also get those numbers too and go more in depth in our later live hits. I know I put you on the spot with that.
I update it every week, and I wanted to make sure I include everything in there.
And then in terms of how long this could take, obviously it's a massive undertaking that you guys are doing. I know end date is not set, but what are we looking at so far?
Well, it is hard, and we certainly would never hold the Army Corps to any particular date, because you've never seen anyone work as hard as they do and tirelessly. But we certainly know that through this summer, they won't be completed. And we needed to have that message sent out, both for the business owners here so that they could make plans about what they needed to do, but also so that other people could understand that we do need to keep the lake closed. So certainly through this season, we are hopeful, and that would be hope on my part, and we are hopeful that perhaps by this fall they might be completed. We certainly are pretty firmly convinced that by the season next year, the spring, the lake will be open. Right. It's just difficult. As you said, you don't know always everything that you find, and there's some things take longer. I think they found a truck that had been there for over 100 years, which is sort of sentimental to everybody to think, about just how old the town actually is.
Yeah, and just along those same lines, you mentioned there was a truck, I believe it was a T-model truck we had a photo of. There was a boat named Pooh Bear, I believe we had a photo of as well. Can you talk about what has been discovered? Even, on the more somber side, there's that reality that maybe parts of people's homes have been washed in from the storm.
Well, you know, it's difficult. As I said, none of the houses in Lake Lure were demolished by the storm, so it wouldn't have been anything from Lake Lure. But as I said, all of Chimney Rock came down. There certainly were pieces of lumber, pieces of stores. There were refrigerators. There were petroleum tanks. All those kind of things have been found in there. So I think, I think nothing that you really wouldn't expect, to be honest with you.
Okay, and we'll have to go soon, but we're going to talk more with the mayor and provide the sound with you in the next hour about also why people should come to Lake Lure. We know Chimney Rock State Park, that'll be reopening next week, so there's still things for people to see.
There's absolutely reasons to come here and enjoy the beauty. There certainly is.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us here on Fox Weather, and good luck to the recovery here. We were talking about it before our live shot, Zach, that while recovery is still going on, and you see the the bottom of the lake in some areas, if we pan over here, you can see where they have done revitalized some of the areas. They have a lovely gazebo down there that they mentioned. People get married there, and the greenery around here. You have the mountains that have come to life. You can see the trees are all green, so still a beautiful place, and of course a lot more work. Back to you.
Absolutely beautiful country out in that direction. Fox Weather correspondent Brandy Campbell, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next hour.